Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And we got some news for you. Breaking news. We're one of the outlets that gets to break this to people, Larson. How exciting is that?
It's very.
Brock Lesnar will be the cover model. Will be on the cover of WWE 2K17. We were invited by 2K Games to take part in a conference call with Paul Heyman, Paul E. Dangerously.
It was his State of the Union address of Suplex City.
That's right. Suplex City is now officially on the map as needing a State of the Union address.
It's now a real hamlet. It's a real town, Steve.
That's right. So we got to listen in, and if we wanted to, we could ask a question. But everybody there was asking really good questions, and we got the info we needed. And I didn't want to be one of the guys who gets lambasted by Paul Heyman. And I honestly felt that if I, as smooth as I am with people, if I would have got on the horn, I would have made a complete ass of myself to the creator of ECW, and I really didn't feel like doing that.
Yeah, it was just really early in the morning, and I was tired, so that's why I didn't ask anything. I was still drinking coffee.
So, Paul, tell me more about 2K17. We did now. There wasn't that. That was like the gist of it. Like we got who's on the cover. They'll probably do like a proper unveiling of the cover. I would think at Raw tonight. What do you think? Probably.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and we also got the release date.
Oh yeah, go ahead. What is that?
October 11th.
Oh, okay. Was that? Oh, okay. We didn't have the release date before then. We just knew it was October, I think.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay,
yeah.
So October 11th. That's exciting stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of other info given, but there was a little nugget that Paul E. kind of dropped in his in answering one of the other questions, and I forget what the question exactly was pertaining to. I think it might have had to do with like input in the game, stuff like that. He let it slip that he actually did some voiceover for the game. Now, our big question was, would there be, and somebody actually asked this and he couldn't give an answer, would there be a showcase mode for Brock Lesnar, similar to the one that we saw with Austin last year?
Yeah.
And he said, it's funny because at the time, it was sort of later in the call, somebody asked that, and he says, can we confirm, is there anybody in the room that can confirm that there's a showcase mode for Brock Lesnar? And nobody was in the room to confirm that. However, the fact that he did say that he did some voiceover for the game would seem to indicate to me that there is going to be a showcase Brock Lesnar mode. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but the fact that he did some voiceover for it, sort of lent that.
I had another idea because during his discussion about doing VO, and this is pure speculation.
Pure speculation. We have no
put that disclaimer on there. Pure desperation. Pure desperation. Pure speculation. That he said while talking about that VO that it had something to do with discussing with the player about being a Paul Heyman guy. So I wonder if career mode is Paul Heyman guy mode now.
Oh, that's a good point. I had not even thought about that. Interesting. This is why I keep you around. You're very keen. You got good detective skills.
I can't talk very well early in the morning, but I sure can listen.
I guess so. I can't listen and I can't talk, so I'm glad one of us was.
My note here says discusses with player about becoming a quote Paul Heyman guy.
Man, look at you! Wow, that sounds pretty cool. So hopefully that'd be a really cool twist on the My Career. It's interesting because dollying up the My Career thing. I mean, you look at NBA's My Career, and we saw the year that Robin Stevens blew up. They took a certain tact with it, and then they had to change things up. But basically, they kind of have to find a new polish for it year after year.
Yeah.
And so, and then the next year they brought Spike Lee in to make it a Spike Lee joint. Where it just took on a different sort of, it took on more of a narrative story thing as opposed to the year before, and so this would definitely be a new spin on, or at least just a polish, if you will, on the My Career mode, and really exciting one. So I have no idea if that's true, but what you said certainly, and I mean given the fact that usually with the showcase, with the Austin showcase. I know Lawler and JR said that they did some voiceover for the match calling for Austin stuff, but there wasn't a whole lot of, from what I remember anyways, there wasn't any other dialogue that I remember anyways from any of the other players. I'm sorry, any of the other characters.
Yeah.
Any of the other wrestlers rather. And so the fact that Paul E is saying he would have done voiceover, like I'm not sure that would be needed in the showcase mode. So that could make more sense if it was in the My Career mode.
Yeah. I thought it might be funny if they had a Suplex City mode that was kind of like Horde mode for multiplayer games, where you're Brock and you're in the ring, and someone comes in and you have to suplex them, and then once you do that, someone else comes in.
See, we need again polish your resume, yeah, and send it into 2K because I want to play the game that you're talking about right now. And I hate that I'm not coming up with this stuff because if I polish my resume for 2K, they would be like, "What ideas do you have?" I'm like, WCW mode, where you sink your ship. Learn how to sink a franchise. Let everybody get the book week after week. That'd be me. Oh God, that's hilarious.
Well, I wonder if they do a showcase or Brock story mode. Do you think it would encompass his entire WWE career, or post UFC primarily? Speculate.
I would think it would. Well, it would depend on. I mean, they would have to really. I'm trying to think of like the roster spots that they would have, or that they would have to bring in to his days, sort of, running roughshod over SmackDown.
Kurt Angle would be a
Kurt
must.
Angle is an obvious one. I mean, they got Goldberg, so I mean, WrestleMania 20 or 21 or whatever, 20 I think is set.
They would need a Kurt Angle for sure.
They need Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero,
a big feud with Eddie Guerrero. Was Eddie in the last game?
No.
Was he in last year's?
No.
I don't think he was. And obviously they'd have to skirt around Benoit.
They would need a Big Show.
They need Big Show. I mean, he's in there every year. And then I mean, after his UFC, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, obviously they can't. I don't even think they could probably mention the words UFC. In the game, I mean, I don't know, but I would really doubt it if they couldn't. They couldn't say Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I would think that there'd be also sort of legalities that would prevent them from saying UFC as well.
Yeah, I would think so.
So I don't know how they would. I don't know. I mean, it's an easy way to get around.
I mean, you just say MMA or something like that instead of UFC.
There you go. Tackle a different adventure or some shit like that. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that'd be. I mean, obviously, breaking the Undertaker's streak is like the sort of the apex of his career. Sort of the pinnacle of what he's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder. Hey, do you think if they do a Brock showcase mode, takes on the Undertaker? Do you think they're gonna bring in what's his name, Emba? The excited face guy.
Yeah.
Bring him in just to model that look would be hilarious.
That would be great.
Give him a couple bucks to lend his likeness to it. That'd be great. That dude's got a great Twitter. Like he's really built off of that one shot of his face. He's built an entire Twitter following, and I think like a YouTube channel. Yep. Like people bring him out to conventions, so that's rad. He was on the Edge and Christian show.
Oh, that's so cool.
They had him just for they Skyped him in just to do that face. Like they said, I forget what the gag was, but it was all part of a gag. Bring him in. I'm trying to think of other things they could do with the with the showcase mode, though.
Well, there'd be the match with Cena where he suplexed him like 20 times at SummerSlam when he won the belt.
That's gonna be one of those things where the prompt is gonna say, now suplex Cena 20 times.
I know.
I kind of wish that for the cover they would have used his purple, like his face super purple. Like that's got to be a prompt. Get Brock's face to become purple. That's an early prompt though because it happens hella quick with him.
Yeah, within 30 seconds generally.
Get to see the Undertaker. Maybe give him a nut shot. That'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else. Your prompt: have an underwhelming match with Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. Trying to think of what else they could do with him. I don't know. I think that's great though. I mean, like going from sort of Austin to making it a Brock, and more specifically, like if Paul E is the one leading your way, either if it's in my career or he's going to be heavily in the showcase mode, I think that's fantastic. He was great on the conference. Like, it's super early in the morning. I don't know where he's probably out of New York, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and he was absolutely hilarious. And he stayed over, like they said, we have a hard stop time of blah, blah, blah. And he stayed over to answer questions. And he was really engaging, and he was selling the shit out of it. It was Paul Heyman. It was great.
It was
like
fantastic.
The fact that I was, hitting the star button away from asking him a question. And I know people are probably out there, why didn't you ask him this or that? People are asking him. One of the questions that was asked was, is Brock going to use his entrance music from the WWE in his fight in the UFC? And Paul said, Brock thinks, you cut out. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I don't know, my video turned off. That was weird.
That was weird. What would you like me to use when you cut out here?
I want slightly purple Brock Lesnar.
Okay, done. Anyway, somebody asked when they asked if Brock would use the same theme music in the WWE as he's going to in UFC. Is that what he's going to come down to? Paul E said that Brock said that he was just kind of amused that people are so concerned over the aesthetics of things, and Brock doesn't care because Brock is just going to he's training to fight. He doesn't care about what entrance music he uses. They also asked if Paulie's going to be walking down the ramp or whatever, the entrance to his UFC fight, and Paulie laughed it off and said, "What possible good can I do helping Brock in his corner, walking him down there?" I'm like, well, I doubt Justin Bieber does much for Floyd Mayweather.
But I'm sure the Burger King did a lot for Floyd when he was in his locker room.
Exactly. So I'm like, Paulie, I'm sure you could actually help Brock a lot more than Justin Bieber or the Burger King could for any fighter. So I don't know. I mean, it all sounds very, very exciting, and I'm looking forward to 2K17 when it drops October 11th, and we want to give a thanks to 2K Games for letting us in on the action and letting us be part of the media that breaks this info.
And being part of the State of the Union of Suplex City.
It's just neat because, like, you see on Twitter people saying, 2K is going to say on Monday that they're going to release the cover info for 2Ks, and I'm like, I already know it. Ooh. But I got to be a good boy and respect the embargo.
Yeah. You had another story you want to talk about too, yes?
A little bit more of a story here. So according to Pro Wrestling Insider, for the draft, we're looking at 6 call-ups from NXT, and then I didn't quite understand if this meant for the draft as well, or just over the next couple months we're looking at a total of 10 to 12 call-ups from NXT, which we're going to talk about that. I wrote down some of the names that were not suggested, but insiders are saying that these names are sort of look for these guys at the draft: Carmella, Bailey, and Nia Jax. Carmella is interesting because I really want to see her back with the guys.
Yeah.
I want to see her with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
Nia Jax is kind of surprising because I would have thought that she could just she could get the belt off Asuka and you'd bring Asuka up.
Yeah.
It still wouldn't surprise me if Asuka did come up, but then at what point, then who has the belt?
Yeah, then the depth of the women's division NXT is thin after.
I mean, I could see Alexa Bliss perhaps maybe taking the belt and maybe establishing a good year-long heel run with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those names right there. If you don't bring up Asuka, then she can anchor the women's division, to perfection. But I would have thought that Nia Jax would have been better because she kind of needs a bit more developmental time.
A little bit, yeah. She's grown a lot.
She's great. Look, she could come up. I'm just saying if it's a matter between her and Asuka, I mean, that's not even a question. I think Asuka would be, immediate.
Maybe they want a face champ to anchor their division for a little while.
That could be. Let's see here. Obviously Finn Balor's coming up yesterday. I mean, he's coming up probably at the draft, which is a bummer for me. I wanted to see him not be available for the draft. I wanted to see him come up in a surprise storyline.
You want to make a splash, yeah.
I do. I mean, I think that would benefit him in a million different ways. I don't want to see him, free agent. Maybe they just understand that, hey, he's been really successful as a face. Why align him with the club right now? I disagree with that. I think that him being a heel with the club just amps their freaking popularity up. Like,
no, I agree with you 100%.
Massively. Another name, you maintain, we sort of have a differing of opinions here. You maintain that you think Nakamura is going to face Joe for the belt in a program. I think he's going to be coming up to Maine. I really do. I think the fact that they've kept him away from the belt for so long, I know that they've had Joe and Finn going at it, and so he sort of had to tread water.
Well, Nakamura's only been in NXT for 2 months, 2.5 months. He hasn't been around that long.
Since TakeOver Mania, right?
Yeah, 2.5 months ago.
That's been 2.5 months. I think even that's been... I think that's just to get him used to the WWE way of doing things. I think he's so out of place because he's so ready to go. And I think Joe is an exception because he's anchoring the brand. Like, he's their top dog, and they need a top dog in the brand. But I think Nakamura just needs to go to the... I would be really surprised if he wasn't one of the call-ups.
I always thought that they were going to save Shinsuke. Sorry. I always thought they were going to save Shinsuke for later. So, sure, people that watch NXT regularly are well aware of his talents. But those who might just watch it a little more casually might still not be that familiar with him. I think for him to make a huge splash on Maine, I think he needs some... He has momentum now, but he needs a ton of momentum.
I could see the benefits of him taking over Finn's big face spot.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that right now.
Yeah.
Who's going to challenge Joe? But then again, dude, they're bringing in Bobby Roode.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bobby Roode, like the UK tour he did with them.
You think that might be the extent of his time in NXT?
That's his cup of coffee in NXT, and then he's going to go on to Maine. I would not be surprised.
You might be right about that. That wouldn't surprise me at all. If we consider tag teams individual name call-ups, Revival and American Alpha, although if you want to anchor the tag division with the Revival, although the Authors of Pain are in there, I can see them being NXT for a little while if they're as new as people say they are.
And they got Gargano and Ciampa.
Yeah, they've got them there too. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's exciting because they've got Roderick Strong might be coming up to NXT soon. Moose. Although I guess I've read that there might be some there that's more ambiguous at this point. We're not sure if that's actually going to be the case. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It's just apparently not as much of a lock as perhaps Roderick Strong. But yeah, I mean the NXT brand as it is now will sort of be decimated by the time of the draft apparently. But I mean, I don't know. I'm sort of excited. I actually really don't want NXT to be sort of a stale thing. I want people to come in, be interesting, make an impact, see how they look, and then move along. Yeah. That sort of interests me more. Than just seeing Samoa Joe at the champ. But I mean, he's a good anchor for the brand.
Let me ask you a question: was Ty Dillinger mentioned amongst the names?
The only names mentioned were those three. Were the three in the women's division? Okay, the only ones mentioned. Ty is an interesting case because again, he doesn't need to be on NXT. He could be on Maine right now, so easily. Like his match with his little mini program with Andrade Almas Andrade. What's his name, dude?
Andrade Cien Almas.
Cien Almas, thank you. That's gonna take me a while to remember that one, dude. Oh goodness. His little mini program that showed to me, dude. Ty Dillinger's ready. Like whatever little thing he's got, his little crisis of confidence thing that he's going through right now. Once that's done, he's fucking ready.
Oh yeah.
But again, I think it'd be fun to see him in a feud, like him sort of polishing off his crisis of confidence angle with a run at the title with Joe. Like, that could be fun because he would be kind of the massive underdog. Yeah, and I think that would be because Finn comes in as the top shit, but you get Ty Dillinger in there, jobbing out to a bunch of people, and then he finds his confidence and he goes up against Joe, the ultimate monster. That's why I like Joe there. He can build so many people. Yeah. So yeah, but no, I don't know. Ty Dillinger, it'd be great. It'd be surprising.
Oh yeah, no, I think it would too.
It'd be great. I don't know. Like if he goes up to Maine, that's a whole nother beast for him. Yeah, I think he's ready, but that's a whole nother beast right there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, he is a perfect 10 though, so.
He is the perfect 10. Well, I don't know. According to Corey Graves, he's a 5.
Yeah, I know, but
so
give him time. Once he gets his confidence back. 10.
Yeah.
10.
Oh, over the weekend, we had a couple of videos go up, Larson. We had top 5 wrestlers who should come back to the WWE and top 5 wrestlers who should stay where they are and not come back to the WWE.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly, that one's more popular. People love talking shit.
People like lists about bad stuff as opposed to good stuff.
That's right.
I don't know why. Like everything that we
anyways.
do is worst does better than best lists.
So you guys, it's there for you guys to check out and enjoy.
Yes,
and and then of course tomorrow night, of course, we've got our regular episode of Going in Raw, and we've got all sorts of great stuff planned for the week too. So that's it for us. That's our breaking news. We're in the big leagues now. Look, man, people are on this conference call from ESPN, from
other places,
YouTubers. Bleacher, I think, was there asking really good questions. We weren't.
I thought of a question this morning I should have asked.
What was it?
That if Paul thought the success of MMA has led to greater mainstream acceptance for pro wrestling.
Oh,
I should have asked that.
Man, that's a really good question. My question was like, what was the Sandman like? Did you ever see Shane Douglas's butt? All right, everybody, that's it for now. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.